it is intuitive Badiou's account. Something is there, but it is not accounted for with maximal degree or with an important degree, you see, transcendental degree. Of course, this is approximative because it is, I wouldn't uphold that also dissonance has minimal degree either. So it is an heuristic example. But nevertheless, it kind of functions in the sense of providing an example of this reversal between minimal and maximal, something that in a sense is there, materially embedded in the situation, and if it comes up and appears and begets form in a certain sense, it becomes the structural the structuring element of a situation. It is a kind of a reversal of roles, you see. So this is an important role for the inexistent, because all he has to say about change in logics of roles, which is slightly different than in being an event, comes from this idea of the inexistent, which is quite important. Action or practice that is determined by a specific protocol. You change the aims of the practice without declaring. So this is, for instance, the way he understands things like cages 433, this kind of thing, because yeah, you're doing music, so you come up with a piece of music that doesn't have any sound. So this is a kind of constitutive dissociation, right? There is a presupposition that guides the practice, but then you change a component of the practice without declaring so, which means without entailing that it is per se another kind of practice. You're not changing kinds or changing type. You're within the same kind, within the same type, and you just revise or take out a certain component of the practice. This is a constitutive dissociation. And my paper dealt with that as the title says, constitutive dissociations as a means of world unmaking, because also Flint is a radical anti-realist, and he thinks that there are kind of epistemological consequences to constitutive dissociations that kind of reinforce his cognitive nihilist conclusions. So what I came up with in my paper was a different account of constitutive dissociation that makes it a kind of a technique that can be mobilized within what I'm calling a abductive realist framework, not an unrealist, irrealist, or anti-realist, or cognitive nihilist framework as Flint's framework is. So one part of my argument was, okay, the constitutively dissociated situation will be accounted for somehow, right? And this is where constitutive dissociation kind of compulsorily will be weaved into a world-making practice, because you will have to account for what happened. And this can or may not entail the rewiring of the diagram of the practice. I'm sure you really need to think about the inexistent as one. Okay, this is the first thing, because he actually is he's protected by the ontology, you see. But the ontology, the relationship between the ontology and the phenomenology is that the phenomenology is a partially ordered. It's the same stuff. The same stuff is there. The same stuff that is in the ontology. You see, but ontology is not what is. Is not what exists or what is. Ontology is a discourse about what is, and the discourse about what is set theory. So why set theory is a discourse about what is? Because set theory is capable of, let us say, talking of unbounded multiplicities, which is very tricky, right? Very, 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 very complicated. So this is why there is a specificity of, set theory for Badiou. Like, you can talk about unbounded multiplicities without unifying the concepts Of course, when he writes in French about this thing, he's using natural language. This might be a problem, but this is in the meta-ontological register of discourse, which is like explaining why you see the formalisms itself and their unfolding in set theory are dealing with the unbounded multiplicity. So this is the first thing.